Hey guys, welcome back to Crazy Dave's Kitchen. Okay, so today's one of my off days, so I decided to play around in the kitchen with kind of an experiment. You guys seen the smoked cream cheese that's all over the place, where people take the cream cheese and add a little bit of olive oil, some garlic and seasonings, and they smoke it. I said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna do a one-up, and I said, let's do it Christmassy. So I'm gonna play around with this thing. I've got a little bit of bourbon. I've got some molasses. If you want to come over here and look at this, you can. These are some walnuts. It's about 10 ounces. Bag of pecans. Now, going back to these walnuts, I put them in my blender because I wanted them kind of semi-chopped, almost like a powder. I didn't want them really, big, like size of, they normally come in. I've got some nutmeg, cinnamon, allspice, vanilla, and some brown sugar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these over to the pot and we're going to mix them up and we're going to find out what happens. So we're going to make a candied nuts, cream cheese, something. Stay with me, you're watching Crazy Dave's Kitchen. Okay, so we're going to put this experiment together and see what happens. There's only one way the results are going to end up at, either garbage or absolutely phenomenal. So I guess there's two ways, but in the end, it's one way. You're either going to keep it or you're going to throw it away. All right, so first we're going to go ahead and turn the stove on to like a medium high. And I want to throw the nuts in there first. Actually, no, let's throw the brown sugar in. This is about a cup of brown sugar. Let's throw that in there. I'm going to put in 2 shots of some bourbon. This one just so happened to be a Crown Royal. We don't really drink much here. We only use the alcohol and stuff for cooking. So this is a bourbon that I'm going to put in here. I guess you can use whiskey if you have your favorite whiskey, because to my understanding, bourbon and whiskey are the same because it even says whiskey. Alright, I'm going to add this jar of molasses to it. This is not quite half, a little bit under half. I like to use grandma's molasses. I've tried other stuff and I always come back to the grandma molasses for some reason. It's something that I've used for a while. Back in my days when I made a lot of beef jerky, I always resorted to the grandma's molasses. And if you want, you can turn this thing upside down and just let it do its thing. Vanilla. This one here, I have no idea what this is. Probably maybe an ounce worth. We're going to find out. I think that's an ounce worth. Or shot glass. We're going to get rid of this bottle here. Throw it in the sink. Alright, now I've got a little bit of allspice. Not much left. So we're going to actually measure this one out for you guys. And I think this is going to probably be maybe a teaspoon's worth? I don't know. Let's see. Well, that's 1 teaspoon. I think I'm going to start with just 1 teaspoon because the allspice is pretty strong as is. Next, we're going to go to some nutmeg. And this one, I think I want to go with an actual... Actually, correction, that was a half a teaspoon of allspice. So I'm going to go with about a half a teaspoon of nutmeg, and we're going to do another one. So this will be 1 teaspoon of nutmeg. And then we're going to go to the cinnamon. And this one happened to be a new one. All right. And this one, I think I'm actually going to go with maybe a tablespoon of cinnamon. Let's make it a little bit cinnamon here. And there we go. There's a tablespoon of some cinnamon. All right. Now, if you want to zoom in over here, you'll see that the mixture is starting to boil here. I'm not sure if you can see that on camera there. See, it's a little boiling, but we want to stir it up and get it kind of mixed up really good, and we want to get it nice and hot. Once it starts to boil, you want to keep stirring a lot so it doesn't burn. And you can just smell this thing. This smells really good. Let's see what it tastes like. Oh, you can definitely taste the whiskey in that. But it's actually a really good flavor. I can still pick up on the molasses. I got the cinnamon. I've got the allspice. I've got the nutmeg. This is actually going to be really super good. Alright, so I'm going to keep mixing that. And you'll see it's looking really, really good mix. Nothing chunky. It's really good. Okay, so now this time is when I'm going to add the nuts. We're going to add both bags of the nuts. And we want this to be coated. Really good. Oh yeah, look at that. And keep stirring. You want this to be nice and coated. It smells really good. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and keep stirring, coating it up really well. We'll be right back. Okay guys, I tasted it. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of just regular white sugar. Maybe it's the bourbon that's throwing me off because we're really not, again, drinkers in the house. So it tastes kind of different. I am getting the crispy flavors on it, but I think I'm picking up on the bourbon. You'll notice that it's starting to caramelize really good. Look at that. That's going to be really good. I'm going to taste the back of the spoon. Oh, you know what? That's what it needed. It needed the white sugar. Because now that's actually perfectly balanced. Okay. And you'll see it's kind of boiling now along the edges. This is the part where you really want to get this going. You don't want to burn it. Okay. Once you see it that it's starting to stick, it's starting to thin out a little bit, and you'll see that it's starting to get really sticky. That's when you want to go ahead and turn off the heat. Okay, let this sit, and you want it to cool down. Now, if you want to, you can go ahead and put that on some parchment paper, let it cool down a little bit, because you're going to use that for the next step. Okay, so that's how you can tell it's really good. Because see how it's like, it doesn't even want to come out of the pot? Well, we're going to go ahead and dump it out. All right, and if you can see that, it's steaming. It's hot, okay? I'm going to put that in the sink, and we're going to spread this out. Now, what I want to do is I want to try to spread this out evenly. And you're going to let it sit for a little bit. Now, you don't want it to be all the way cool because it's going to get really hard. Again, right now we're just playing with this experiment. So I'm going to let that chill up for a little bit. I'm going to go out to the garage where I already unwrapped a whole bunch of cream cheese. I'm going to go ahead and grab that. I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I decided I'm gonna coat these cream cheese blocks that I poured out of the fridge. I already pre-wrapped them. I'm just gonna go ahead and put in a half a cup. Now we're gonna go a cup of brown sugar. Kind of like the same mixture that we did in here. The only difference is we're not gonna add the bourbon. Okay, so we're gonna put this off to the side here. Come over here, grab the nutmeg, the cinnamon. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and add the rest of the allspice there. This one I'm just gonna do it by, by whatever. I'm just gonna sprinkle that in there. Add a little bit of nutmeg. I'm not sure if you guys can see this. The camera's a little far back for room, but that's okay. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's good. And don't forget the white sugar. This jar is almost empty here. That's looking amazing. Ooh. I tasted it, guys. Oh, that's really good. Almost looked like candy. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and mix this up real quick. Let me get a fork out of my store. So what I want to do is just gonna mix this up. I'm going to take the cream cheese blocks over here, and I'm going to take another container like this, put a little bit of that bourbon in there. I want to dip it in the bourbon, okay? Then I think I'm going to coat it with this seasoning mixture, and then I want to try to top it with the candied nut mixture kind of over top, and then throw that in the smoker, okay? So let me go ahead and get another big thing over here, if I can. And we're just gonna go ahead and top it off, just a little bit of that bourbon again. Just enough to kind of give it a little bit of a coating there, so I can grab these cream cheese blocks. And all I want to do is I want to coat them. Just like that, okay? And we're gonna let them sit there for a little bit. Same thing, just kind of, move it around, get it nice and liquidy with your bourbon, okay? And you'll see it right now, it's sticking to the paper. That's because there is no coating on here. But once I start getting the whiskey on it, it'll lift a lot easier, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and finish these up. We'll be right back. Okay, so we went ahead and we kind of coated them with a little bit of the bourbon. I got some of the bourbon left over. I might even just sprinkle it on top. But here's the mixture. We're gonna sprinkle it on top. Kind of rub it in there real quick. Eventually we're gonna do all four sides. Now, as far as your wood in your grill, might want to use a hickory. Even an apple wood might be good. Whatever you use. Me, I like a lot of hickory. That's my two go-to type of wood. All right, we're gonna turn them over. Now, as far as your grill setting, I like to keep mine really low. I have the Smoke Daddy controller that allows me to go down to about 160 degrees. So the lower the better. It's going to be smoked. If you want to start with a cold smoking method, you're more than welcome to do so. Temperatures right now, especially in the wintertime, are really good. Believe it or not, in California right now, yeah, and I do say believe it or not, we're actually got a little bit of rain right now, so it is very cold. This is like probably the first time I got the heater on in like the last year and a half, I think, because it's always warm here in California. So we got this going on. Look at that. I mean, that looks amazing. You might want to come close. Smell-o-vision. Can you guys smell that? It smells really good. All right, let's go over here and look at these ones. Look at that. The mixture is almost gone. So that was a perfect amount of mixture. You don't really have to do the sides more or less, because it will get on the sides. Just from the actual rubbing of it. But if you got anything extra, kind of season it up. All right. There we go. Okay. Now, we got a little bit of this bourbon left. Take your fingers, and all you're gonna do is just kind of drizzle, just dribble a little bit of that bourbon on there. Oh yeah, really good. Now you notice I didn't use all of it. because what I want to do now, come over to this candy. And it's still a little warm, but I'm able to touch it. And I want to just smack it right on there. Look at that. Oh man, dude. That looks like yum. Alright. I think I'm gonna maybe use a spoon. Nah, actually, I'm having better luck using my hands. And just let it sit there for a little bit, and kind of trying to push that in there. We got a lot of this stuff to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish coating these, and I'll bring you guys right back. So one of the thoughts kind of going through our heads here is these look like, I guess, maple bar donuts from Krispy Kreme. I mean, if you think about it, there's the white bread, and there's your maple nuts. Oh, you know what they are? Maple bars. But this looks like one of those maple bars with nuts on it, right? All right. Now, some of you guys are probably going, what's Crazy Dave been smoking? I mean, California's got the legal, cannabis and stuff. No. Crazy Dave can't touch it, believe it or not. I'm kind of jealous sometimes. But as truck drivers, we are actually under the federal regulation. We cannot touch cannabis at all. Believe it or not, can't even touch CBD. Because if they find it on us, they'll take away our license. And sometimes CBD has trace amounts of THC. All right, so I think this looks really good. Take my fingers right here. Remember that little bit of bourbon? Rinse it off. Let's just go ahead and same thing. Drizzle a little bit of that bourbon on there. Oh man, this thing looks so good. All right. Now, for those of you that are worried whether or not this is okay for your kids, it is, because at the 160 degrees we're going to go for 3 hours, whatever alcohol is in that bourbon is actually going to go ahead and burn off. So this is a family-oriented recipe. Okay. All right. So I got a little bit of this left over. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's really sticky. So maybe I'm just going to pat it down, and I'll stick it in the fridge and munch on it later. Okay. Why not do something now? Let's see. I haven't even tasted it. Let's see. Oh man. Oh man. That is absolutely amazing. All right. You guys are watching Crazy Dave's Kitchen. I'm going to let you go for now, because next I'm going to put these babies in a smoker for 3 hours at 160 degrees, and then I'll bring you back for the finished product. So these have been in here for about an hour, and they look absolutely amazing. Look at that. Now we are at 2 hours into the smoking of the cream cheese. And let's take a look again. That looks amazing. And if you look at the cream cheese, you can totally see that it's starting to get that smoky color on it as well. All right guys, well here it is, the finished product. Take a look at that. That looks so delicious. Taste test. Oh man. Oh, you know what? You guys got to make your own, because I'm not sharing any of this. Woo, man, that's, oh man, delicious. 100%. Guys, make that for Christmas. All right, guys, well, there you go. About 3 hours in. That thing looks amazing. I've already showed you some pictures of that. So now you can either serve that as like a hot dip. Not sure what you're gonna put it on. Not really wheat thin, just kind of a sweet thing. Maybe just eat it as is, or let it cool overnight, and then kind of take chunks off of it and slice it up and eat it that way. Well, there you go. Crazy Dave, I'm out.